Welcome to Chat with the Prez. This is Leslie Vargas, Riverside Community College District Public Affairs Officer. Sit back and enjoy engaging conversations with students, colleagues, and community leaders, all hosted by Moreno Valley College President Dr. Rudy Besikoff.
Pull up a chair as always and join Leslie and me, this time outside. Episode number 10, Pathways and First Impressions inside Moreno Valley College Outreach. Leslie, what can we expect today?
I'm glad you asked, Dr. Rudy. Today we are spotlighting the front lines of Student Connection, our outreach and recruitment team. These are the folks who introduce future students to MVC, build relationships with our K-12 partners, and help families understand the pathways available at Moreno Valley College.
That's right, that's Team First Impression, isn't it?
Yes, and our guests include Sandra Martinez, Dean of Enrollment Services and Engagement, who oversees outreach recruitment and the transition from interest to enrollment, as well as Andrew Graham, Enrollment Services Coordinator, the individual behind campus tours, community outreach visits, and an expert on the history, growth, and offerings at Moreno Valley College.
You know, Leslie, this is shaping up to be a fun and informative conversation. But before we get started, how can our audience reach out if they have questions after the show?
Well, listeners can email us at prezhour@mvc.edu, like us on Facebook at Moreno Valley College, and follow us on Instagram and X at Moreno Valley College. Dr. Besikoff is also on social media. You can find him on Instagram at Dr. Besikoff and on YouTube at Dr. Besikoff Talks Education, where all his past shows are available.
Thank you, Leslie. I'm Rudy Besikoff, very proud president of Moreno Valley College, the only public higher education game in town since 1991, and home of the Mountain Lions. Like most great things in my office, this show comes together thanks to a team effort. In addition to Leslie, Chris Rangel behind the scenes keeps us looking and sounding good. Also, Tiana Thomas is hard at work as always, lining out guests for the program. But co-hosting with me as always is Leslie Vargas. Leslie, kind of looking around, first episode ever, even going back to my previous podcast, first time we've ever broadcasted outside.
Yes, and it's a nice day today, and I happen to notice this mural behind us.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, who better to ask about this mural than our guest, Andrew Graham. Andrew, could you tell us a little bit about the mural behind us?
Absolutely. So the mural behind us was actually a community-based effort from a former alumni, Rosie Cortez. She basically designed the mural that we have on this beautiful walkway up to our humanities building, and it became a community-based project. So a lot of students, family members, we'd even recruit at our community events, hey, come and paint and take part in this community piece. And it turned into this beautiful multi-storied mural. You can't see it from the color perspective, but there are cold colors that come and warm up as students go to class with the psychological intent to say, hey, as you're walking up the stairs, you're warming up to a new day of learning and opening up. It also has a beautiful representation of a monarch butterfly. It highlights an evolution of the student process and represents our dreamer community.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. And I do understand we have a monarch butterfly population here in the area.
Yeah.
And I think on a future episode, we should explore that a little bit. I also want to welcome our other guest, Dean Sandra Martinez. Dean Martinez, we're here in front of the Humanities Building. Do you have a favorite outdoor spot on our campus?
Actually, coming up to this mural is actually a very beautiful walk up here, but also our murals that we have up front in the front stairs also represent the history of our college, and those are very beautiful walkways as well.
All right, I actually want to start today's conversation with you and just your pathway. And certainly when someone becomes a dean, it's not the first job out of school, so to speak. There's a pathway. Could you tell us a little bit just about how you came to become a dean?
Well, I actually started as a part-time staff member in our financial aid office here at the district, and slowly moved my way up from a clerk to actually an analyst, and then became a director for a few years here. I had the opportunity to become a director of financial aid here at Moreno Valley College for a few years. And as of 3 years ago, I was given the opportunity to serve as the Dean of Enrollment Services. So my passion lies in student services within our enrollment, admissions, student financial services, outreach, and admissions.
You know, obviously leading up to that, there's also a pathway in education. Could you tell us a little bit about college and what you took?
Yeah, Yes, of course. I am a product of community college as well.
Where'd you go?
I graduated to Santa Ana College.
Oh, okay.
And I majored, my associate's degree was in marketing. And then from there on, I started a family and went the route of adult education. So I went to University of Phoenix and then Chapman University. And I graduated with my master's of organizational leadership.
Okay. So what are some of the aspects of organizational leadership as well as marketing that you bring into your job?
Well, one of the things that I learned and I was very passionate about when doing my master's degree in our organizational leadership was servant leadership, and just how, we as leaders, we need to take care of our team and make sure that they have the resources necessary in order to make sure that our students also have the resources necessary to be successful and have a positive experience in our college.
Servant leadership, what's that?
So servant leadership is you are the person who makes sure that everybody is taken care of, that you're serving first, and that you are taking care of everybody so that everybody can take care of the rest. So it's a team that serves for each other.
Excellent. All right. Andrew, tell us a little bit about yourself, just how you came into your role as an outreach coordinator.
So our outreach coordinator role is actually full circle. The brief side of it, I was a middle college student here, and my first job was student worker in outreach.
Oh.
I worked for about 5 years in a temp role and then worked in admissions and records. From there, about 5 years in, I then became our assessment testing coordinator, and I just hit 9 years in a coordinator role last week.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I born and raised Moreno Valley College Mountain Lions. I love it. And as the roles in counseling and assessment changed, I found myself more on the admissions outreach side. And so as the enrollment service coordinator, I support admissions, outreach, and assessment. And that's kind of where my journey took me professionally, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
So it sounds like you've become the face, right, of Moreno Valley College outreach and tours, but you started early, right? How does it feel to be that face? And is there anything, if people were to come on campus, that you wouldn't want them to miss or to know about?
So I'll say two things about the face, and the reward of that is so many people I've seen come through, and then I've seen their children come through. And that has been an absolute blessing and reward for me. One space I always have to give a shout out for is our iMake Innovation Center, because of its community-based and public-facing opportunities. I always tell families, come check us out there, see where we have a good central spot of community to build up on. And hey, if you're interested in enrolling, we're right next door in the Welcome Center. We'll help you get enrolled.
So you mentioned that your journey, Dee Martinez, began in financial aid. Just in terms of maybe students listening to the program, wondering about that next career step, why might they consider starting working in an office in our Welcome Center, such as financial aid? What would be some things to make them think, I might be a candidate for this?
Well, first of all, your experience shapes your profession. And so the reason I came into student services is because of my own experience in community college. And I wanted to make sure that every student that stepped into our college had a positive experience as well. So it starts from being a student and maybe, joining the departments as a student employee, as a peer mentor, and then going from there, because it is a family and we take care of each other. We do know, we make sure that our students are connected to all the resources that they need in order to make their journey here successful. And so we are a family. Everybody collaborates. There's a large sense of collaboration and advocacy for our students.
Okay, so you've spoken a little bit to the soft skills and what comes from the heart for the position. What about more of the kind of qualifications, or maybe things that might be college classes somebody should consider taking so they get some transferable skills to work, say, in a financial aid office, in admissions and records, something like that?
Anything in business administration, I know that was a huge benefit to me, with having those skills in business administration. Marketing, of course, that helps us a lot. Or accounting skills, because you do have to deal with a lot of numbers and financial aid, of course, and reports, and a lot of Excel spreadsheets. But yes, definitely a degree in business administration does help a lot.
Okay, so not so much the student that fills out the financial aid application, the FAFSA, but somebody who maybe is looking from a career side. What would be a good resource to learn about financial aid, how it works? Again, not so much from the consumer side, but from someone who might consider it as a career.
It would probably more likely be being a part of the team as either a student employee. That's where you would get your fresh start, because there is no technical training for a financial aid officer, but you learn from the experiences that you get from being a peer mentor there, and
All
just
right.
teaching other students how to do the application.
Okay, so out there I have 35 subscribers on YouTube, and probably at least one of them is saying, "Oh, student employment, I'm in. I want to do this." So if someone's interested in working in the Welcome Center, working in the financial aid office, how do they get in touch?
And we do have information on our website, and we do have our student employment coordinator. Her name is Michaela Burtleys, and
Okay.
she is located in the Student Financial Services Department.
Okay, so just go down there and ask for Michaela.
Correct.
Okay, excellent. Wow.
Wow.
So beyond the student employee experience, if you went one step further post-graduation, what would the route you take be the one you recommend, or are there other kind of front door jobs to kind of apply for?
Well, anything that has to do with customer service does help.
Okay.
A lot, just because you have to have that interaction. Make sure that you understand that interaction is active service for our students. So anything with customer service, but anywhere in enrollment services, anywhere within the college, you learn the full experience, and it gives you that experience to apply for a job.
Excellent. I'm going to turn the same question to Andrew. Just in terms of if you want to be in, just to our audience, first of all, have you had anybody ever take over any of your college tours, maybe college senior officials or anybody like that, when you're giving a tour of campus? Is a president or anybody like that ever hijacked one of your tours?
I feel like my biggest celebrity tour guide is Dr. Besikoff, definitely by a mile. And we love having that environment. That's one thing I like about the tours is the community at Moreno Valley College is not shy. And I'm going to jump in and share my piece of my history, which motivates students. And I think having such a storied history here myself, I'm able to then connect their stories back to the student and elaborate as we go on those tours. In terms of your question regarding...
So yeah, my question now is, if for someone to kind of be, as you are, an ambassador of the college, whether it's here or out in the community, what might be some good steps to get there, whether it's a class or a work experience?
So, and this is, the first part of my answer would be more towards students. I would say is a lot of what we do when we recruit our student ambassadors, because a lot of them are fresh out of high school, we kind of vibe check the students in terms of some of them will answer questions really intently, and you can tell their dedication or their interest in college and passion. But we also will identify students that are helping their peers when we're doing application workshops and other events. And I think having that individual leadership skill, the want to help your peers, and to not be afraid of pursuing the technologies and the resources that we have. That's actually how I hired one of my newest student workers, Hema. She was actually recruiting and helping students with the My Portal and emails. And I was like, find me when you come to the college. Let's interview, let's have a professional encounter now. And she's been phenomenal. And I think, so I tell students that leadership, practice public speaking, but don't be afraid to approach the departments, any of the departments at the college seeking work, because that intent to work, I think, is the best first step. We'll teach you the customer service. We'll teach you how to handle situations and mentor you in that way. And that's something I've always appreciated about how we raise our student leaders here at the college.
So you just naturally, you're a very engaging person. If someone wants to kind of get queued up, get ready for that job interview, get ready for that face-to-face engagement, what would you advise them?
I would say read over our website.
Okay.
Just like any professional that's looking to get a job in our district, reading over and being familiar with the processes to the area that you want to be in. And when students first come to me, I say, well, if you want financial aid, again, make sure you understand that process for yourself as a student. If you're interested in recruitment, customer service, if you're interested in working admissions and records, make sure you understand how to use your My Portal and your student email and have a navigational piece to how our college operates. Then that usually is pretty...
That's a
pretty well
transferable skill
It
that they
is.
can have with any job. They need to do their homework
Yeah.
before they interview. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just a fascinating conversation we're having so far with Andrew Graham and Dean Sandra Martinez. And just to our audience, you are tuned in to Chat with the Prez, available as always on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Also, the show can be found on YouTube on the Dr. Besikoff Talks Education channel. So, all right, I want to kind of move on from this. And again, just you talked about, and Leslie, I think this is something that's really interesting because previously Andrew was sharing, do your homework to kind of get ready for that interview and all of those things. And I can't help but think back to when I was kind of a college graduate getting ready for that first interview. And of course, we didn't have electric lights back then. It was kind of getting ready by fire and those kerosene lamps and things. But a lot of what I was doing was practicing in front of the mirror, working on sitting up straight, sitting on my coat jacket, doing stuff like that. How about on your end, just to build confidence for that job interview? What would be something you'd advise?
Well, my favorite thing to do is remember that no one knows you, so they don't know what you're going to say or not say. So sometimes people get hung up on what they didn't remember to do, but nobody knew they were going to say it anyway. So just go in like you're putting on your best. I always joke with people like you're giving it, you're telling the truth, but you're acting, you're giving your best version of yourself, and whatever you want that to look like, just be ready to be the star of your own video.
Dee Martinez, certainly you've interviewed people. What's something you look for from people just when they're engaging you during a job interview?
Well, more than anything, them being their genuine self.
Okay.
Nobody expects perfection in an interview, and I think that a lot of times that gets lost within us because we want to present our most perfect self, and so just giving that person that nod of confidence and making sure that they understand that we've all been in that seat before, and that we don't expect perfection, just their most genuine self.
Oh, very great. Just any advice you'd give to somebody just on the confidence projecting side for an interview?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Leslie. Walking into the room, kind of like in that actor mindset of, you're owning your own experience and speaking to your experience as if you're having a natural conversation with someone. It's okay to take those long pauses and think of how you want to formulate your answer. I'd say the biggest advice I like to give is don't over rehearse and make sure your foundation is in bullet points. Because if you over rehearse and you get stuck, what are my bullet points? And your conversation comes naturally.
So what would be on your bullet point list?
For interviews, I always say when you're introducing yourself, break it down by education, experience, and any professional or personal outside extracurricular that you have that relates to a position. And that usually sets the foundation for the rest
So
of the
Leslie, what I'm hearing is not 15 bullet points, but 3 major ones, 2 or 3 major ones with some details.
That's good. That's good
okay.
advice.
All right. And just to share, I often, there's that kind of proverb or expression, I'd rather see an example than hear it. And obviously in an interview, you can only hear it, right? But I always feel like when I'm sitting interviewing somebody, if I, in that moment, can close my eyes and picture that person doing the job from what they're describing, usually that person ends up on the top of my list. That's kind of how that works.
The
So
biggest note I would give when it's kind of like an average or negative mark on an interviewee's response is when I ask how and I don't have anything filled in after that, right? How do you do that? That question that we're asking you is huge. I think that's a make or break, and it sets candidates apart. So I completely agree with that.
all right. So gosh, I didn't know we were going to be giving job interview advice. But so kind of getting from hearing about Moreno Valley College to that first day of class and the whole process. Obviously, it's not one step, and often it seems like phases or stages. And just having had the pleasure to work alongside both of you the past few months, I think you've probably forgotten more about the process of registering than most of us know. Could you maybe, Dee Martinez, just kind of walk somebody, especially somebody in the public who's saying, maybe I want to come back to college. What are the steps to enrolling to expect, and maybe the amount of time somebody should grant oneself?
Well, definitely starting with the application would be the first step, but also, at the same time, a lot of students sometimes
Dee Martinez, where would somebody find that application?
in our website. So our
Oh,
website,
okay.
we all of the information is in there, and it does walk you through what kind of student you are. If you are a new student or returning student, and so a student that has had previous experience with higher education as well. So depending on what your status is, it will walk you through that.
So I have a question. Let's say I went to college, took a few classes, stepped away, worked for a few years, and I came back. Should I mark new, or should I mark returning, or what should I do?
So if you've stepped away and you already have a record with us, it would be a returning student.
Excellent. I'm sorry. Please continue the process. Yes.
So as you're filling out the application, many students think that, okay, I did my application and then I just have to wait for the college to do the rest. Well, our steps are outlined in our website, where it does state that at the same time, you can do your financial aid application simultaneously. So by the time we receive your application for admissions here at the college, we would also be receiving your FAFSA application.
So you're saying if I've got my Google Chrome browser open on the internet, or what do you use Chrome or do you use
Yes,
something
I
else?
do.
Oh, you use Chrome? Okay.
I am a Chrome lover.
What is it? Safari, I think is the other. Okay,
Yeah.
anyway. I
We're
think the
just
beach.
gonna forget Edge.
I think
Microsoft Edge. No.
Edge. Okay, you see now. Yeah,
Wait
that's
for the hate comments from me.
that's
Edge.
what people in the 21st century use. Is that what you're saying? Okay. But what you're saying is perhaps I could actually do two browsers, one where I'm doing the application and one where I'm applying for financial aid.
Correct.
And I could essentially do those at the same time. All right.
Correct.
So, all right, I've submitted my application. I've applied for financial aid, or in California, the DREAM Act. That might be an
Correct.
option. Then what?
Then within 48 hours to 72 hours, we do receive the application here at the college, and we do contact you, giving you information about your assessment, giving you information about your ID. That way you can log into your email, and any subsequent emails would be through your student email, because now you are a student. You have been accepted to the college, you are a student, and any subsequent emails and directions would be given through there.
Andrew, could you tell us about the assessment?
So the
because
assessment?
yeah,
So
I'm
many
worried about
moons
them
ago-
taking blood or something. So yeah, could you tell us what that is?
when there was lanterns with oil, we used to test in math and English. What's really convenient now is students are even up to 10 years out of high school. We ask questions about their performance in English and math, and we automatically give them placements. When we pull that application data in, they'll get placements in math and English. And if students don't see that, we can survey them through our website or through counseling to get those English and math placements on record. And now, the counselors are trained to identify, hey, what's your major and where are you looking at going? Okay, let's get you a math you're comfortable with and make sure that they have that support when they start their coursework. So
Okay, so what you're saying is, so when I was a freshman in college, and again, the kerosene lamps and everything, yeah, we had those Dixie cups with the string also. No.
the sundial outside.
Yeah, sundial. No, that was what they used when they timed me in the 100 meters. But yeah, but what I remember though is I remember having to study for my math placement test. I remember writing an essay. Also, I was a French major, so I had to take a French proficiency test. So you're saying an assessment, there's no more tests to take?
None. There are two.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, I know. There are two that I encourage students to look at if you speak Spanish, to come seek me out for a Spanish proficiency, just because we can place students in a higher course, and when they complete that course, they'll get credit for the lower classes.
Okay.
And that's great if you're an intensive unit major, or you need the 2 years of a foreign language for college graduation and transfer. Some programs at universities prefer college level language proficiency. The other exam I do is chemistry, so I can place us out of the intro to chemistry course and place students into.
So we're
higher
talking
course.
more very
specific,
specialized
yeah.
tests done kind of to place your level. Other than that, it's really taking an inventory of your background, your grades before,
Yeah.
or things like that. Oh wow! So I don't have to study like I did. Oh
Yeah,
wow!
a lot of stress
That's amazing.
taken
All
off
right.
people's
They're saying
Okay.
no tests and everybody's accepted?
It is.
Oh,
Open
come on,
enrollment.
Prez.
College,
Let's
here we
go.
Yeah, and all right. So now we've gone through, we've registered, we've done assessment. What's next, Dean Martinez?
So after we've received the application, then we connect you with resources. So one of the things about our enrollment services area and in our welcome center, we do have all of our different resources because students have different needs. So there might be things such as accessibility issues that students need to address, financial aid, obviously. And they have to do academic advising as well. So they have to see a counselor in order to know what classes they need to register, and to also assess any classes they've taken prior to coming here as well, and to get their credit for prior learning as well. So it does take, I would say that students do need to allow themselves a week to 2 weeks to get all of that in, and also have an opportunity to seek out all of our other resources. We do try to connect all of our students up front, but we don't know, and sometimes our students don't know what they need until they know what resources are available. So we try to make sure that they have all of those resources and they're connected up front before classes even start, before they set foot in their first day of class.
So going through and learning about resources available, what's one that always kind of jumps out where students say, wow, I didn't know I could have that?
Well, one of the things that first of all, financial aid. A lot of students think that just because both parents are working parents, they automatically don't qualify. The assumption is that only one parent, if it's a low income students, most students qualify for financial aid. First of all, they qualify for their tuition being waived. What was previously called the Board of Governors fee waivers, which is now as the College Promise program, it does waive the fees. And so a lot of our students, even though they think they're not eligible, they might be eligible for a lot
So
more.
how much does it cost to submit an application for the FAFSA or the College Promise?
It is a free application.
Oh, wow. Gotta love it.
And we hold many workshops throughout
Okay.
the year, and so we actually help out. with
And what happens to your credit score if you apply for one of those?
Nothing happens to your
Absolutely nothing. Gotta love it. Okay, Andrew.
Wait,
so
but
you-
what's the credit score? You know, some of my listeners are going to say, "What is he talking about with a credit score?"
Andrew, I'm going to actually ask you the same question. Just when you're taking students around campus, when you're out in the community, talking up the college, which you do a great job of, what's a resource that people are surprised to know we have?
I will echo the financial aid sentiment. A lot of families are hesitant, and I'll say this: you see it a lot, like on the news, in the media, social media, at the college, the conversation, and this whole other podcast, college conversation around debt, and that's where I sell the beauty of community colleges, that students who graduate high school have that free tuition pathway, and from there, if they capitalize their financial aid, that the opportunities to support yourself and support your family are very abundant at a community college. So tying not only to financial aid, but to say other support programs that echo those resources, our College Promise and Engagement programs, our EOPS Care, Next Up, CalWorks. And because I have a student worker who's utilizing her financial aid, she did the one extra unit kind of push. She's got enough money to pay for her third and fourth year cash at Cal State San Bernardino. So she's not going to take any student loans. And that's just an amazing opportunity. And so I think that's the big one in the community that we get the most surprise around.
All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and either financial aid, what is it? Or, financial aid, I would never get it. And those are the
Absolutely.
two big myths we love to bust here at
Yeah.
MVC. Absolutely. All right. So we've applied for financial aid, we've assessed, and we've learned about resources. What's next, E. Martinez?
So then you do need to select your classes, you register, and we have engagement centers, of course, within the Welcome Center, and our ed advisors who do help with registration process, as well as some of our peer mentors as well in our Welcome Center who do help students register and make sure that they know where all their classes are located. And from there on, you get to start.
You said peer advisors?
Correct.
So it's not somebody like me towering over them, it's a student who's been in their shoes.
Correct.
Or is in their shoes right now.
Correct.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay. What about the engagement with the counselors? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, our counselors are there. They're very knowledgeable counselors that know and can discuss with you what your career aspirations are and what experience you have before you even step foot here. And so they can help advise on what classes and what pathway would be better suited for you based on your previous experiences and based on what your goal is.
Outstanding. Wow. What is any advice you'd give somebody going through those many steps?
Ask so many questions
Okay.
because as a student that went through community college, I didn't ask enough questions, and that shaped the experience that I had. And so always ask, don't be afraid to ask, don't take no for an answer, because sometimes you might not be asking the question correctly, and don't give up on the first no. Always ask.
That's good.
Okay.
Good advice.
And just, Leslie, so you know, behind the scenes, and one of the things I typically do is I try to register for college at every college I go to. And I actually had a friendly person towering over me. That was Andrew. And as we were going through the process, I was absolutely grilling him with questions.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think if there was a question I didn't ask, it doesn't exist. I've pretty much all of them been just amazed at how knowledgeable everyone is and how much help is available. You know, we're having a pretty good run so far with this show. Can you all stick around for the second half?
Absolutely.
All right, Going to do a little business here, but as always, we want to remind our audience that you are tuned in to Chat with the Prez. Leslie, how can our audience catch Chat with the Prez? Where is it available?
Well, I'm glad you're asked because we're available on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, and it can also be found on YouTube on the Dr. Besikoff Talks Education channel.
That's right. Excellent. So definitely at this point in the program, I want to go ahead and shift our focus to our partners of MVC. Leslie, earlier this week, I had the opportunity to attend the annual Apprenticeship Expo
Oh,
for Moreno
yes.
Valley. And they get multiple shout outs on this program, but want to thank the city of Moreno Valley, specifically. I know they call it the Recreation Complex Center down there. I call it this. I call it the City Hall area down off Frederick. Basically turned into a giant convention space.
Yes.
There were partners from from unions, industry partners, fellow educational partners. We actually had our district and RCC was tabling there, and just a number of folks in the community. And just imagine this: so 14 different high school districts, or more than 40 high schools,
Yes.
brought in groups of students. It was hundreds of students showing up, and just an amazing event. And as always, we truly appreciate the city of Moreno Valley just for the amazing work we do, along with the many partners that,
Yes.
if I listed them all, this would be a 2-hour show.
Yes.
So I'll definitely want to
Great.
say that. Also, just speaking of support for students, I want to go ahead and say that as we transition at this point in the show, I'll remind our audience that Moreno Valley College supports students with scholarships, many different scholarships, including the MVC President's Excellence Fund. This is for currently enrolled students who may be in the middle of a semester experiencing maybe a tough break, like a flat tire, some books that went missing, or something like that. If you're a student experiencing that, you're enrolled and need some support in the form of a scholarship, contact my office at 951-571-6161, and we will provide more information about this great opportunity. Now, Leslie, the money's got to come from somewhere to
Yes,
support
it does.
doesn't it?
It don't come out the air.
Support students. We had a donor this week as well.
Yes,
I
we-
definitely appreciate that. The college partners with the Riverside Community College District Foundation, and we jointly invite companies, community leaders, or members of the general public and alumni to consider giving to the President's Fund or make a different donation to support specific programs of study, other scholarships that help students, even investing in resources such as equipment to support our students, laptops or things like that.
Yes.
Besides the benefits, especially the warm fuzzy that comes with giving and making a difference, I'll also share that charitable gifts to Moreno Valley College are tax deductible and processed through our district foundation, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, not my bank account. Okay, just sharing that. But if you are interested in donating, please visit the foundation website at rccd.edu/foundation, or email them at foundation@rccd.edu. But maybe you haven't met anybody with the foundation, but you are familiar with Moreno Valley College, or kind of maybe through this show have gotten to know me a little bit. If you have questions and want to talk to somebody, email me, the phone number I just gave, or you could reach out to Rudy, Besikoff, Besikof, at mvc.edu, and would be glad to find some time just to talk to you about any potential gifts that you'd consider making. The last ask I'm going to make, though, is to our very own employees. Monthly payroll deduction. It's something that's great. It's a regular gift, a difference you can make, and you don't have to think about, should I give or should I not give? You've already made that decision one time, and that's also a tax-deductible opportunity, and it's done pre-tax and can provide opportunities for students. In fact, 1 cup of coffee from Starbucks a week. If you instead make a donation in that amount, whatever you're, a tall, is it a grande or a venti, whatever that is, one of those a week, Leslie, what can that get our students?
That could get them 2 classes of tuition paid for, maybe even a Chromebook.
That's right. And one of our areas where we're actually shifting our emphasis is we want to really stock up on laptops and Chromebooks this year for our students. I think that's right now a priority. So if you have any questions about payroll deduction and how that works, please feel free to reach out to my office, and we'll make that happen. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about outreach and our partnerships and those tours. So let's actually start with the tours. Andrew, somebody comes to Moreno Valley College, asks for a tour, you show up, what can they expect? A salute. All right, that's a start.
So those who know me know I like to talk, and I first ask our partners, How long do we have? Well, we have varied tours at the college. So we have 25, 30, 45, and hour-long tours. Sometimes we'll host larger chunks of time to also tie that to application and resource workshops. And then from there, we have a little route. And it's the same route modified. I mean, we'll take you all the way from our Welcome Center through our Science, Student Services Library, up our SAS to Humanities and back down, and make sure every question and trip and stop along the way is filled with inquiry. And so for me personally, I like to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? And so giving those students not only a visual of the college, but a pathway or idea of what their future can be is kind of what to expect. So,
Okay. You know, Leslie, I remember humanities majors and humanities offerings within kind of that school. When I went to college, the list of offerings at my college were probably bigger than our college catalog. In the humanities building, what goes on in here?
I like to point out a lot of the different support programs and resources we have. Huge shout out to our honors program, being able to talk to students and let them know a few things. And this kind of goes hand in hand with how I pitch college to our students, that in high school, we have students that might have a rough experience or a lower GPA, and they tell me these negative things about themselves. And my job, I feel like, is partially to lift them up. I'm not smart enough for college. I don't have the GPA for it. Well, guess what? You start over when you come to community college. Let's give you that flat baseline. And honors is a really good program because we tell students you can do the honors classes. It's built different. It's not meant to be an extremely hard class for you. And we've got a lot of success stories that come out of that. So our honors classes are smaller class sizes that allow students more intimate experience with their instructors, and lab work and extra assignments and research opportunities, and that builds their portfolio. Another really good resource in our humanities building is our ASC Center, so it's Academic Support Center, that houses also our MESA program for the science and tech.
Where's that
out there.
located? It's
Second floor of our humanities building, and they have resources with student tutorial services. So if you're struggling in a class, you can immediately go in and get a tutor. My experience I share with students, I say, hey, I was good at math, I'm an English major, and I would walk in and I remember I announced, can someone teach me a different way to do this? And a bunch of hands went up, right? That's the kind of support that students can expect with our ASC. And again, printing resources, instructor mentorship, and how to write papers. And so there's great resources there. We have a new lab up on the 3rd floor and our art studio on the 1st floor as well.
So, D. Martinez, really quickly, I'm printing, students often worry about printing during the semester. Little left turn here, but student fees, what do they cover?
So our students' fees do cover all the services around here, any events, anything that has to do with the engagement of our students, any events that take place, those students receive.
And I understand, for example, if we're doing an event here on the plaza and food's being served, if someone paid their student fees, how much does the food cost?
It's free.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And we're constantly trying to put events together to build that community within our students, to make sure that they understand that they belong here and that we embrace them, and we want to make sure that they are engaging in community. So those events are very popular and they're constantly taking place here.
Okay. So Andrew, during the tour, when people come on the campus, is there anything that is most commonly requested that they ask to see?
The biggest is our iMake Center. The iMake Center on campus, and the other is where classes are usually held. So
Okay.
our classes.
Where's my class?
Yeah,
Okay, that
first
makes
floor
sense.
library, SAS, 2nd and 3rd floor, and humanities. All 3 floors are usually where we direct them.
What about the bungalows?
The bungalows are.
They have some nice music equipment in there for
They do?
right? So
Yeah.
do they get to see that over there?
Yeah, we take them over on the longer tours to show off a lot of our resources there, and then we'll take them through, our wonderful education centers for early childhood, as well as sometimes our dental labs if there's opportunities for that.
That's right. Yeah. So, Dean Martinez, just hearing about the tour, I know a lot of the audience is our K-12, our public school community. Just can you speak a little bit about the relationship with our local K-12 districts, and what does that relationship look like during the year?
So our administration is very, very, collaborative with our K through 12
We try.
administration as well, as well as trying to participate in conversations that happen within our community via events such as Moreno Valley Wake Up, Moreno Valley. And those conversations allow us to see what the needs of our community are and to start those conversations earlier. And so there is a lot of collaboration, a lot of advocacy being done in conversation. And so we've built a very strong relationship with our campus hall partners. We know them. We have liaisons from our outreach team all over our campus hall, and they know them by first name. They know where to contact them. I would not be surprised if they had them on speed dial already, but they know them very well, and so they know to reach out to us whenever they use them.
And you know, I have to admit, sometimes on the weekend or maybe on an evening, I try to get away from it all. Maybe go to an event in the community. I'm walking, you know, I walk around those things. Okay, break from work, and what do I see? An MVC table with Andrew behind it. So, tell us a little bit about that, and just kind of that getting out there, tabling, a lot of that work.
I love it because I think that's where, when I was a student worker, I would always team up with the outreach specialist. That was my lead, and we went out into the community. And so it gives me the opportunity to give back. We connect at a variety of community events in Moreno Valley at Paris, and the greatest thing is being able to ask the community not only what they're interested in coming back to school or where they're at in their lives, but seeing the history that Moreno Valley has played for them. Oh, I remember Moreno Valley helped me when I was, you know, just going to school out of high school, or, oh, I had a really tough time and I kind of fell and I needed a landing platform and went back to the college. So the community bonding is huge. I also think it's a great opportunity to enhance the view of a lot of our programs to the community as well. And we have fun events. We've done Day of the Dead. We've done Halloween events. We have a snow day coming up. So if you want to
What's snow day? What's
snow day is the snow blowers on the hills, and you can go sledding down hills. Bring the kids. We'll be there. And it's just, it's our way of returning back into the community and also letting them know that we're present for them.
And how much is it going to cost them?
All those events are free. Yeah.
Oh, we love it.
Wow.
This word free is coming up a lot today, isn't it? Yeah.
It's our strongest partnership with our city, is to just be able to collaborate between our on-campus and off-campus events, and the community shows up, and then they know we're here. But it's always good to see a friendly face or remind them what we can offer.
Is there a group that showed up for a tour that you will remember always? Has there been one very unique group that came? I don't know if it was an international fencing club or some. Is there one that really kind of, if you were to tell somebody a story that would come up?
I've done so many, and there's just so many little pieces that stand out. So I'll kind of group a few. I had one where I remember I was showcasing a few things on campus, and this young man was with his girlfriend, and every time he heard something cool, he would go. And she was over it. Oh. But the beauty is I see them around campus to this day. So this was a while ago. And I was like, oh, they're hyped. They like that. And then,
who knows, maybe there will be a proposal here on campus.
I would love to see that.
Relationship made here at MVC, yeah.
Yes.
And to see those relationships and journeys that some students go on. The other one I'll say is some tours I will get as I've gotten older. Trying to stay hip with lingo is really important in outreach and recruitment. Can I get a 6-7 in the comments, right? Yeah. And so the issue with that is sometimes the crowds are just constantly throwing memes and slang out, and then they're surprised that I know it, because I stay on social media. So I'm like, no, I know what you're saying. They're either too embarrassed to keep going, or they're like, he knows about it too. And that's a great way to say it. Yeah, we all know about it here. Come on over to MVC.
So there was a little bit of laughter between host and co-host that was generated in that moment. Because Leslie knows I was looking at her saying, what's 6-7?
And that's the huge thing is just having that kind of livelihood and chatter and the experiences. Yeah, but so far though, the groups are they just lock in and ask questions, and I'm blessed to have those groups come in. I can't think of any other crazy stories. Oh, actually, we had one where at the top of these stairs, the kids were like, kitty. And I was like, oh, yeah, there's a kitty. And then as I'm coming down the stairs right here, the back chaperone's like, bobcat, bobcat, bobcat. And so I was like,
well, we are the Mountain Lion Nation.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Yeah, that was probably our big danger. Okay, get them off the stairs. But yeah, so we have good wildlife here. You can research the wildlife. Some of our classes actually will tie research to the wildlife around campus.
Okay.
So great experience.
Speaking of which, I have to share this. One of my first meetings I had here with the team, I actually got my nature advisories. I was told, when you go to your car, check for rattlesnakes, watch for the mountain lions, bobcats. Yep. I heard some things about wild owls, and so I mean, I got the full indoctrination, which you apparently give our groups
sometimes
firsthand ticket to. Wow, excellent. Well, this is we're talking tours and exciting experience and bobcats, and what a better occasion to once again remind our audience that you are tuned in to Chat with the Prez. And Leslie, how can they catch Chat with the Prez again?
Well, we're available on iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, and the show can be found on the Dr. Besakoff Talks education channel on YouTube.
That's right, 34 subscribers and strong. Yeah, there we go. But anyway, so Dean Martinez, let's go back to just outreach. When you kind of build like a plan or strategy for getting us out there, what goes into that?
Well, we want to make sure that there's visibility within the community so that they understand that this is their first option. This should be their first option in the community. They don't need to travel very far to get a higher education. This should be the first option.
Because we're number one.
Exactly. This would be their starting point for any future goals that they may have. So we want to make sure that they understand that this is possible. A lot of our students are first generation students and don't see higher education as an option for them. And we want to make sure that they understand that it is an option and it is close by. It's within range for them.
No, and I'll break a little bit of news here. You talked about like sense of welcoming and everything. Leslie, Military Times is a publication outlet, and learned this 3 days ago. We got a little bit of recognition.
Oh, wow.
In terms of best colleges for vets, we were number 7 in California. And I'll go even one better. In the Western United States, number 11.
Wow.
So we definitely want our communities, students, when they come here to feel welcome. And also we want college to kind of be that thing that there's no age on it. And this is where I'm going to go next. Again, going back to freshman who was undecided for 2 years, that was me. I remember the first time I really started to think about college was when I took the PSAT my junior year. And the only reason I took it was because I heard my friends were going for pizza afterward. Okay. Sad but true, maybe. But you know what? What I'm hearing more and more now is that we're actually going into like the elementary schools, the middle schools. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, correct. So we want to make sure that they're engaged early on and that they understand that this is a possibility. Again, a lot of our students are not our first generation students that maybe haven't seen that example with their.
What do you mean by first generation?
So they're the first ones in their family to go to college.
You know, Leslie, it's amazing. I've had the honor of speaking at graduations for many years. And I'll ask that question, who's the first in your family to attend college? And to see so many students stand up so proudly is great. But sorry, please tell us more about just the middle school outreach.
Have that example. They haven't had that opportunity to see how to do that transfer into higher education. And so we want to make sure that they understand this early on, again, because you want to make sure that they understand that this is a possibility. And we want to make sure that they understand and they start seeing jobs that are out there within the community. Not all of us can be ballerinas and and astronauts. So I want to make sure that we let them know what's out there and what's the possibilities.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, this won't be 6'7", Leslie. I'm only 6'3". Okay. But going into my pop culture sample size, the Beatles. What's your favorite song?
Oh my gosh.
I'll come back to you. Favorite Beatles song?
Which one?
No, this on the spot question. See, favorite Beatles song?
I don't have a favorite Beatles song, but I know they're a great group and they did really good. They were a guest on a show that I used to watch. So
really?
That's where I learned about the Beatles, and I was like, oh.
Okay.
So you tell us your.
Help. Okay. Actually, this group needed help finding a title.
Can you sing a little bit of it?
No.
All right.
You don't want that. That'll break the news.
Okay, so I think it was Rolling Stone magazine did a ranking of the best Beatles songs of all time. Number 1 was A Day in the Life.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's a perfect place to go with this question. I'm bringing in my pop culture 60s. Yeah. Tell us about a day in the life of a dean.
Well, it's never the same. Every day is very unique, and that's what I love about this job is that I do. Every day is very unique, and it's tailored to every one of our students that come across our welcome center. Because there could be one day that a student is just, not knowing what to do next because they don't have funds to even use our public transportation, and we're trying to connect them to those resources. there's students that maybe need that little push or mentoring because they don't know if the career that they're in right now or the degree that they're trying to accomplish is the right one for them. So there's a lot of advocacy being done at my level, a lot of support for our staff members to make sure that they have the resources is also available to help our students. So every day is very, very unique. There is a lot of meetings involved, but they're all for good causes.
I noticed you pointed at me when
A lot of them that are organized by that.
well, that you said they're organized, I'll take that. That's good. Yeah.
And so, but every day is very unique, but it's full of commitment and advocacy for sure.
All right. So you can't use servant leadership with my next question, but I definitely want to go into Dean Martinez's kitchen a little bit here. Finish the sentence. Leadership is.
Giving.
Okay. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yes. So it's you. Leadership is making sure that you're giving a lot from yourself. You have to give your time, or you have to make sure that you're giving your commitment, that you are fully committed to your job, and that you're fully committed to understand what those who you are leading need. And so to me, it's learning every day. You know, I sometimes picking up that phone instead of allowing the circulation desk to pick up the phone, picking up the phone to really know what questions are out there, because I don't know if I lose touch of what the students are needing, then I won't know how to lead that group.
Although I do have to say, and we've worked together for several months now, I've never heard the sentence, "I don't know," come out of your mouth. It seems like you know a lot of stuff. Excellent. All right, well, you know what? Sounds like the hours a dean puts in can be very demanding, lots of interaction, lots of engagement of people. Work-life balance, how do you make that happen?
Well, I try to make sure that I give it my all while I'm here, and then when I go home, I totally commit to my family life. Because if I am not taking care of myself and my family, I feel like I won't be able to give to our students as well. So the moment, even though I'm always on call and I always want to make sure that I'm there for my staff and for my students as well, that I fully commit to the time that I'm getting here, so that I can fully commit to the time where.
Okay, sounds good. But this thing always rings, and you get email notifications. How do you execute that? How do you execute good work-life balance?
Prioritizing.
Okay.
If there are things that I know that, and nothing is going to happen if I don't get to it right this second, I can prioritize and say, you know what, I'm going to move things around for tomorrow, and I can go ahead and prioritize.
So you're saying that even if it's not a pad and paper or the whiteboard on your refrigerator, there's a list and there are priorities.
There is. And they see me, they make fun of me because I walk around with my pad of paper.
Oh,
I do.
yeah.
I do. I walk around with my agenda all the time. They know it's full of scribbles. They know it's full of erased things, because not every day doesn't look the same, and so every day doesn't always work out how you schedule it. But there's definitely a lot of prioritization that goes
There
on.
you go. All right, Andrew, day in the life. Tell us.
Do I debate if I get coffee or not? And then no. I will say it can be a day-to-day experience. We have ebbs and flows in terms of community versus K through 12 need, K through 12 need versus community, and then of course a lot of the stuff that comes here at the college when it comes to the tours, or we're at the beginning of term versus the end of term.
So you start the day by saying, "Where's my focus today?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please
definitely.
continue. Go ahead.
I do laugh at that a little bit, because it's very easy to feel overwhelmed when prioritization, I think, is the big thing, because a day in the life could easily be coming in, ensuring the students in our circulation desk, which is something I'm over, have what they need. I check in with them, making sure that they're okay and that their well-being's okay too. I think that's important, is their family, just like all of us here, and we want to exemplify that to our students. And then it's emails, it's communications, it's project threads and following up and checking in. As a division coordinator, I can be working on projects in different areas, and so you have either co-supporting or leading, making sure that we're on track or reprioritizing as needed. And then the other big aspect then is the execution side of making sure our partners have what they need, checking in if we've done something with the partner, but everything's done on the application side, but we haven't connected with them in a certain amount of time, then recircling back to them to see what senior support we could provide after application. And then working internally amongst the outreach team members to look at next steps, updated presentations, seeing if, making movement on projects like executing more of a certain type of workshop. We're trying to expand concurrent enrollment. So we want to make sure that there's more education behind the concurrent enrollment information that's going out so that high schools can better execute.
Real quick, what's concurrent enrollment?
Concurrent enrollment is kind of back like in the day, our parents would go to high school and then take a night class at the college. It's that kind of resource, right? That's how I pitch it to the students and their families. Students that are, we kind of have three realms of high school support for our students. We have middle college where the students are here and they're getting their experience. We have dual enrollment where we're at the high schools or high schools.
Right.
Instructors are teaching at the high school to college level courses, and concurrent is students will go about their high school experience and then either take a night or online course.
So high school students on our campus
Yep.
taking class. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so Day in the Life is embracing all of those and making
Okay.
sure those areas are supported.
All right, Mr. Coordinator, finish this sentence. Leadership is.
Accountability. My leadership style is lead from the middle. So if individuals have ideas that they want to go forward with, I want to make sure that they have that support, but have the creativity to execute, but to have me there if there's anything that might be a hiccup or doesn't go exactly as planned, that the leadership is still available to them. So accountability is huge.
So the thing I've probably, when I was in the classroom, when I see you giving tours, and when I see Bruce Springsteen doing a concert and being totally drenched afterward, that's kind of where I put you. So I think this question I would ask, and by the way, who's Bruce Springsteen maybe, but work-life balance for you though. I mean, you're here, you're on all the time. How do you switch off? Do you switch off? What does work balance look like for you? Work-life balance look like for you?
I'll share this as a story because this might touch individuals who are in the same realm. I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 6 years old. Or medication, things like that, to give you that structure and balance.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
I'm no longer on anything, but the habit building can be rough. When I first became a coordinator, I was like, what am I doing? And that email scheduling helped. I think it actually is a strength for me because the ability to bounce around actually is a superpower. And so I always say to embrace yourself and not let that hold you back. So day-life balance is, I can do that during my work and through great leadership and support from my supervisor, I've been able to turn it off when I go home. Because there were times I couldn't. I was also a union rep for a while, and so I was always on.
Oh, wow.
And so 20-hour days eventually became undoable. So I would say work-life balance is, it's okay to know that if you think you have catastrophes on hand, they're maybe 90% of the time not as bad as you think. And everyone lives to tell the story the next day, even after a catastrophe. Balance your life. Take that self-reflection and wellness and practice that. And that's huge. So
Okay, well, I had a supervisor who had kind of an interesting sense of humor and used to tell me, don't worry, all the stress, headaches, and hard work, that'll be here when you come back tomorrow. Yeah. So remember that was something that I took. But what about you, Leslie? Work-life balance.
My work-life balance, I'm not as good as you all, okay? I sit on 4 boards, I volunteer my kids' school, I volunteer at church. So I have not mastered work-life balance. What I have mastered is being present in the moment. So it might not be all the way balanced, but whatever moment I am in, I try to be present. So whether that's eating dinner with my kids, I'm not going to have my phone. I'm not going to do anything else. If I promise them I'm going to do X, I'll be there. I can't guarantee right when it ends. I'm not hopped on the computer, but in the moment, I'm there. Baby steps for me.
All right. Well, definitely appreciate having both of you today. Just real quick in closing, Dean Martinez, somebody wants to get in touch, struggling with registering or process or anything like that, what's the best way to get in contact?
I'm located in the Welcome Center in the outreach area. My office is located there, or they can also call me. My number is 951-571-6109.
Love it when our guests come with a phone number. That's
Yes.
awesome. All right, somebody in the community wants a tour, wants some outreach, wants to connect. Best way to get in touch with you?
Outreach at mvc.edu. Title it tour. We'll get in contact, either someone on my team or myself. If you want to get in contact with me directly, 951-571-6410. I'm also located in Welcome Center 120. If I'm off-site, another way to leave a message is through the circulation desk. I have student workers there. You just say, hey, I want to talk to Andrew.
That's right,
You know,
and it works.
It does.
I found out, yeah. All right, well, audience, as we wrap up this edition of Chat with the Prez, I'd like to thank all our guests today, as well as co-host Leslie Vargas, along with Chris Rangel behind the scenes, Tiana Thomas, Vice President Jake Kavari, webmaster Noel Hansen, and of course Veronica Valdez, all of whom support this program. Most importantly, though, I'd like to thank you, our MVC and RCCD audience, as well as all of those up and down the great state of California. You know, whether you're tuning in from far down south in the 619, big shout out there as always, or the 858 or you're all the way up to the far north in the 717 or the 530, or if you're a part of LinkedIn Nation, YouTube Nation, or Instagram Nation.
Yes.
So many nations, yes. Thank you for your support of this program. Most of all, if you're tuning in today, right here from Paris, Rancho Las Perras, Nuevo, Good Hope, Lakeview Hot Springs, Mead Valley, Mission Grove, Orange Crest, Sedona, Woodcrest, El Casco, Paso de Lago, Marina Knolls, Merino Beach, and of course those right here on campus at Moreno Valley College. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. So Leslie, as we close up shop today, chat with the Prez and try to dodge all that traffic, leaving LaSalle, maybe getting onto the 215, the 60, the 10, or the 91, please take us home.
Yes. Thank you for tuning in to Chat with the Prez, hosted by Dr. Rudy Besikoff. This is co-host Leslie Vargas, and if you have a suggestion for a future show, please email us at prezhour@mvc.edu.